So this is going to be a quick version of Chapter 1, Section 5, subtracting integers. Yesterday we just simply went over the rules, but today I'm just going to give it to you, and we're going to leave it real simple. Just add the opposite. Of the integer. Then use the rules of addition. And I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to underline this part. Add the opposite. So let's just go into some models here real quick. I'm just going to show you some algebraic models. That means we're using variables. So this first one, it's just going to be a minus b. And so based on the rule, all you're going to write is a plus the opposite of b, which is negative b. They might give you a negative a minus b. Alright, again, the rule is add the opposite. So if you follow my examples for 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we've got 3 and 4 coming, when you're doing your homework you should be okay, because all 4 of these are going to represent something that you're going to see. So a minus a negative b. Again, the rule, add the opposite. And then the last one, negative a minus a negative b. One last time, add the opposite. Something to really remember here is that the first term in each example never changed. So if the first term was positive, it stayed positive. If the first term was a negative, it stayed negative. Alright, let's get into some numbers. I'm going to keep it pretty straightforward actually. Negative 7 minus 4. Again, the first term does not change, and then we add the opposite. The answer is negative 11. 3 minus 8. The first term does not change, and then we add the opposite. 3 plus negative 8, you're using your rules of addition. I subtract those two numbers, absolute values, I get 5. 5 is going to be a negative because of the absolute value of 8. Six minus a negative 3. Again, the first term doesn't change, and you add the opposite. 6 plus 3 is 9. Negative 18 minus a negative 25. The first term does not change. Add the opposite. So this is just 25 minus 18, which is 7, and 7 is going to be a positive because of the absolute value. Alright, so I kept it pretty basic and straightforward. Now we're going to get into some evaluating the expressions. Negative 9 minus y for y is negative 4. Something I got to warn you about here is that this subtraction sign has nothing to do with this negative sign. You have to remember that y is negative 4. So this value is going to be written here. And that's negative right there, that subtraction sign is going to stay there. So this is now going to be written as negative 9 minus negative 4. And now just follow the rules that you've been learning over the last couple years. This is now negative 9 plus 4. One's a negative, one's a positive, so we're subtracting their absolute values. The negative 9 has the greater absolute value, so our answer is negative 5. I'm going to turn that over. Feel free to pause the video whenever you need to, okay? Okay, the second one. N minus 6 for n is negative 2. I'm going to be emphasizing negatives this whole time. Again, n is negative 2, so this value is put in here. When a negative is being put in for the first term, generally we don't have to use parentheses. If it's the second or beyond, we should, especially if it's a negative. So the first term doesn't change. We're going to add the opposite of 6. So now we have like terms, or excuse me, like signs. So that's going to be negative 8. Just add and keep the sign. One more to go. The absolute value of 8 minus x plus the absolute value of negative 2 for x is negative 6. So when you write this negative 6 right here, be sure to put it in parentheses. So the absolute value of 8 minus negative 6 plus the absolute value of negative 2. So we can't do any absolute values yet. We have to simplify everything that's inside. So now we're going to write the absolute value of 8. And we're going to add the opposite. I haven't even done the absolute value of negative 2 yet because I'm just going to follow my order of operations. So 8 plus 6 is 14. So now I have the absolute value of 14 plus the absolute value of negative 2. And now we'll do our absolute values. So simplify this expression, and it's 14. Simplify this expression, that's 2. 14 plus 2 is 16. There you go. So this should be pretty darn close to what we did today in class. I'm going to rewrite the homework up here. It's going to be page 24, 1 through 7, and 19 through 30. Use this video any way you can by stopping it, rewinding it, playing it over and over. And if you need to, come back tomorrow with any questions you might have, alright? Good luck with your homework.